right, good morning, everybody. Welcome to South Seas ABE. Hopefully you are here for Battle of Windows Service, a silver bullet to discover file privilege escalation bugs automatically. I am Dr. John Griffin, and it is my great pleasure to introduce Wenxu Wu. Before we begin, a couple of brief notes. First, stop by the Business Hall, located in Mandalay Bay, Oceanside, and Shoreline Ballrooms on level 2 during the day, and for the welcome reception tonight at 5:30. The Black Hat Arsenal is in the Business Hall on level 2. We're on level 3, I believe. And join us at 18:30, 6:30 p.m. for the Pawnee Awards in Lagoon GHI. We'd appreciate if you would put all of your mobile devices on silent. We're recording the talk, and so if there's too many interruptions, we'll have to lock the doors and start again from scratch, and you'll miss lunch, which is at 12:05 at Bayside AB. Let's do it. Wenxu, come on up.
Good morning. Thanks for coming. I'm Wenxu Wu from Tencent Security Wenxu Lab. Tencent is the name of a company. If nobody works for only Tencent, this is not enough for sushi, right? Tencent is also the largest social media and entertainment company in China. And Tencent Security Wenxu Lab is mainly focused on applied security and real-world security research. I'm a member of advanced security team, where I'm previously doing web application security before, but now I'm interested in logical bug hunting. So this talk is based on Windows 10 and Visual Studio. All vulnerabilities has been reported to MSRC, so I'm sure no 0 days will be rolled out. And several new bugs I will be releasing them after this presentation. So this is the outline. I'm first to introduce what's new in this talk, and then we'll do some case studies and introduce the silver bullet to discover new bugs and build a discovery framework. So what is the logical privilege escalation bugs? All of us know the restricted user could communicate with a system service through RPC or COM or some other ways. And the system service will do some operations, such as file operations, registry, or handler operations. And when we do file operations, it could grant access or set owner, or to do some create, delete, write file. And then I want to say most of the bugs are in the RPC servers today I'm talking about. So let's say restricted user need to use protocol sequences to communicate that RPC service. There are actually 5 kind of protocol sequences for he to use. Actually, the most important one is the ALPC, which is NCL RPC. So let's see how it works. When we analyze the ALPC interfaces, we first use a tool named RPC Viewer. It could reverse the interface to ideal code. And then we could analyze the related DO file using IDAPRO and use process monitor to detect if there is a sensitive operations. So what's new in this talk? We all know there are too many interfaces in ALPC to be analyzed. Actually, there are hundreds of them and thousands of the functions to be analyzed. And reverse engineering is really hard for. And all of us knows we could build fuzzers to automatically detect them. But fuzzers is designed to find memory corruption bugs, not a logical flow. We are today talk about how to find logical flow in this presentation. So what I want to say is, have you ever considered about the low-hanging fruits? What is a low-hanging fruits bugs? That is to say, it's easy to find and easy to exploit, and we could automate it as if possible. And what does these fruits look like? So we'll do some case studies based on the historical bugs. The first one is reported last year, which is located in task scheduler service. And it's used to grant access to job file. That is to say, it could get full control of that file. And it receives several parameters. The most important one is the SDDL, which is used as a security descriptor. When we analyze it, we find it first canalize the path and make it an elimination to the task scheduler service path. And then it converts the SDDL parameters to a security descriptor. Then it updates the DSL of the target file. Before it will first revert to a system token. So all operations is under system user's token. Let's see this process. Actually, there is 3 steps, and then it would use add remove principal ACE to set the new DSL for this target file, and the current user will get full control of that file. How to exploit? It's very easy. First, we create a hard link and point to it to what we want to read, and then we call the function, and all things will be done. So this is actually the low-hanging fruits we want to find. It's easy to find and easy to exploit. The second one is not about ALPC, but about some functions related to system service. It is located in installer service, and it's used to enable the installer to write to the script or registry and the shortcut. And it also receives several parameters to process. And we could say it will receive a package path, and it will copy it. First, it will impersonate the current user's token and check access if the current user could read the target file. If okay, and it would revert to system, then copy the target file to the Windows installer's path. But the copy is readable for current user, so actually we could get the content of that file. So there is a certain time between the read happens and the check. So we will know how to battle with the TikTok problem. That is to say, time to check, time of check, time of use. The first way is OPLux, which is based on device IO control function. We define the callback function, and when it was accessed, we could get the callback function and win the risk condition at once. But there is another way. It is to use read directory change W function. There is no lack of this function, so brute force is needed. Then we see the POC. First, it uses create file to open the handler of the target file, and brute force if the target file is copied, and between the check happens, after a check happens, and it would try to read a copy file if there is success. So what is a silver byte after we do some case studies? There is several traditional ways to do this process. First, it is to analyze ALPC interfaces related to impersonation. Why? Because the developers of Microsoft always make mistakes in this area. And not only ALPC, but also some document function or document functions related to system service. So we could export LPC interfaces from RPC viewer. Also, we could collect a function list from MSDN. So we need to write a spider to collect the function list. And based on these ways, we also find new bugs. This is a new bug we found based on this way. And it is located in assistant service ALPC. And it is used to get metadata from the path. Before it read the metadata, it would first impersonate the current user's token, and it use create file W function to check the access if the current user could read that file. And if so, it will revert to a system token and then read the metadata. So it will only use the impersonate to check access. After doing that, it certainly use a system token to do that file operations. So the developers make the same mistake as we mentioned in example 2. So this is actually not a balance we want, because we want to automate this process. And we will know reverse engineering is hard to do, and low-hanging fruits in this area were sold out. There are so many nice bug hunters like James Fortune. So what is actually silver bullet? We need something new. So the most important thing is how could we trigger those system service, trigger these functions without doing reverse engineering. One day, I'm wondering if I could use Windows app stores to do some operations. And when I install an application from the Windows Cloud Store, I find it would certainly do impersonation and some other sensitive operations. So I have a thought. When we install a new applications, we actually do UI interactions, such as we click the button or press some buttons, and then the sensitive operations will happen and it triggers system services. So we first start applications from a system applications list. We could collect it under the restrictions and also some system folders. We hook the process monitors to detect if there is any set security call. And then we replace the path with a symlink or a hard link, test if the DSL is changed, and then we save the log. So after we build this framework, I want to test if it is effective. So I use it to do some interactions and use so many virtual machines to automatically doing this process. And I do have some new bugs found. The first one is located in FX development services. It is very easy to trigger it. Just a simple click when you start some Windows apps under the users folders. And we see it first we replace the settings file with a hard link, and we run Windows apps such as the Windows Camera or Windows Xbox Live, and we'll get full control of any file because it uses a settings file. We see it just call the ALPC interfaces and use set security to change the DSL. So let's see the video. First, I'm going to view the DSL of the target file I want to get full control, and I try to write something to it, but failed. Then I delete the settings file and replace it with a hard link. And I point this hard link to the target file I want to get full control. Then I start Windows apps such as Windows Camera. After a click, and the operations is triggered. So you will say process monitor has hatched the sensitive operations. And now we try to write something into it again. Yeah, and it's success. So the second one is in standard collector service. This interaction is more complicated. It clicks the button from the menu to trigger. The program first creates a file, and then it sets DSL for the same name file but without an extension. So there is also a certain time between it. So it's definitely a race condition problem. We will see it even not impersonate the current user's token. Directly use the system privilege to do that things. So this operation is definitely dangerous. And we could also use a hard link to point it to the file we want to get full control. But this is not the most interesting one. And I'm going to talk about the most interesting one I have found. It is located in Windows Defender service, which we most consider it as a default installed security software in Windows 10. And this operation and the user interaction is more interesting. We click the button from the right-click menu. Many of us knows we want to detect our computers if there is a virus or search. And if there is a virus has been found, Windows Defender will move it to another file or just try to delete it. You may see this UI. And if you click Start Actions, it will try to remove the virus in your computer. But what make me concerned about it is we are a restricted user. But if I scan the wild computer, what will happen if there is a virus in another user's folders or in a system folders? I don't have the permissions to do that file operation, right? So it will call the system service to do that operations. So you will say you just call the system service to set a DSL for target file. But before it will try to use set file decomposition to delete that virus file. And if failed, it will try to set the DSL for target file to prevent it is being accessed by other user. And this is very interesting. I just create a plain text file. The content is only 1, 2, 3. But if the Windows defenders consider it as a virus and try to delete it. And before the delete happens, I also replace it with a soft link. And you will say the DSL was changed to a special permissions. Actually, it set the DSL for anyone and prevent it being fixed. So, before we talk about those vulnerabilities, we will consider what we want to find. If we want to find a new bugs, what we want to do. That is, when a restricted user must communicate a system services, there do have some sensitive operations. So if we catch them as a flag, and we will find some interesting things, such as it borrows the privilege from the system service and do what user want to do. So when I automated this process, I just know if I could do more complicated, so the new bugs will be found. So that is a severe bug I have just catch, and there are several new bugs has been found, but I report to MSRC, but they have not fixed it yet, and I'll release them after a presentation if they tell me it's okay. So I will want to thank my leader, Yang Yu of Tencent Security Xuanwu Lab, for he helps me a lot on it. And James Forshaw, he is a pioneer in this area to discover logical bugs and give us so many thoughts of his bugs. And Chuan Dading, He previously do a presentation in Black Hat EU, and that is a cutting-edge presentation. So he also talks some interesting bugs of this type. So here is a question time. Do you have any questions? Thank you.